Have you ever considered applying tips from an FBI hostage negotiator to convince a hiring manager to make you a better offer? Or convince your child to go to bed on time? No? Well, while these examples might seem worlds apart from each other, this next audiobook will have you taking notes while you listen. Welcome to Audiobook Reviews in 5. This is Jana, also known as Yana, and today I'm reviewing Never Split the Difference, Negotiating as If Your Life Depended on It, written by Chris Voss and narrated by Michael Kramer. Never Split the Difference was published in 2016, but I'm sharing this review with you today because this book has some of the most practical and accessible advice for anyone who's accepted that decision-making is a lot more emotional than rational. And let's be honest, we are all irrational and emotional more than we care to admit. This book is so useful that it's one of the few publications I've both listened to and read several times. In a nutshell, it's a behavioral psychology approach to negotiation. And what makes it fun to listen to is that the author, Chris Voss, a former FBI hostage negotiator, shares stories of various cases he's worked on throughout this book to illustrate the approaches he recommends. Now, what makes it really relevant and useful, however, is how broadly Chris's advice applies to negotiating, and indeed, what even counts as what we think of as negotiating. Voss says that he likes to define negotiation as emotional intelligence on steroids, and the key to success is navigating the other person's emotions. Voss also thinks that introspective people make better negotiators because they think about human dynamics more and they don't miss what's going on. Interesting. Now, the main criticism of this book is that Voss advocates manipulative or even immoral behavior, but I disagree with that point of view. I would argue that the techniques and the tools that Voss recommends actually lead to more compassionate decision-making, less conflict, and better outcomes in all types of relationships. Voss coined the term tactical empathy to describe the process of trying to understand the person we're negotiating with on an emotional level, and then using that understanding to our advantage. However, it's critical to note that this book is not about tricking people. It's not about making them buy into decisions that they regret by any means. Tactical empathy genuinely helps us relate to other points of view. And if we're honest with ourselves, most of us are not negotiating with hostage takers, even though from time to time it might feel that way. If you get too attached to your point of view during a negotiation or a conversation, it's going to be a lot harder to convince your hiring manager that your salary expectations align with theirs, or to convince your child to honor a set bedtime. Voss repeatedly advocates for a sincere win-win approach, and he reminds us that no deal is better than a bad deal. Finally, Michael Kramer is the perfect narrator for this audiobook. He brings the right balance of focus and intensity that made it easy to listen to over and over for myself. And he's narrated more than 100 other books, including Andrew Cuomo's 2014 biography and dozens of other audiobooks across various genres. This book is for anyone who wants to improve their communication, relationships, and professional lives. Whether you're job hunting, parenting, selling products and services, working with difficult people, or you simply want to better understand what motivates human decision-making, you will find some useful insights here. Chances are, if you listen to this or read this one, you'll find advice you can use in nearly every single conversation, so don't miss it. That's all for this episode of Audiobook Reviews in 5. Thanks for listening. I look forward to checking in with you all again soon. Please stay safe and be well.